Hey, what's up? I'm Angie. This is New Path Tarot. We're going to look into what the energies for today are. That was the bottom card. Card 5, the Beloved. Shuffled it around. It stuck out. I mean, why are we still on that? I don't know, but we didn't read this the other day. So let's do that. And maybe it'll go away. Alright, there's 3 things in the book in regards to a card. There's the essence, the invitation, and the medicine. So I'll just read all 3, and you can take of it what you want and or what fits, and leave the rest. The essence. The Beloved is a... Already starting off a hit, huh? The Beloved is a recognition of spirit in another and moving towards spirit through the other. It is when the divine appears to us in the form of our child, our partner, our friend, and we experience being in love. As we grow, we start to recognize the Beloved in everyone, not confusing their personality with their divine nature. The invitation. Accept the invitation to learn through the path of love. Expand your being through union with another. When you recognize the Beloved in another, you call forth their highest and purest nature. Follow the path of love. And the medicine. Be careful with romantic love, the kind of love you fall in and out of. Own all the projections you have placed upon the person you are dreaming of. Remember that they are only mirroring back your own deep longings rather than revealing their true selves. If you fail to notice this, be prepared to walk through the fire of strong emotions once again. Interestingly was mentioned about what does 17 mean, and my eyes were drawn to previous notes that it was written about it being the Chinese word for fire. So 17 equals fire. That's just wrapping that up as in bringing mention to something that had been previously stated. But let's do another one. I'm gonna do something. Alright, this is what I'm gonna do. The top one is gonna be, I'm gonna read the first section of the book. The middle one I'm going to read the second section of the book, and the third one I'm going to read the third section of the book. So the first one is Circle, card 8. The essence. Unification, interconnectedness, and a sense of continuum is what this card implies. The circle reminds us that we are all one. Dancers in a unified, continuous, inclusive circle. This card reminds us of the cycles of life and the evolving self, ever-changing and always connected. Human, spirit, nature, the cosmos, all intrinsically connected. All within the mainframe. Okay, next one. Wind, 63. Second section. When the spirit of the wind comes calling, it is a sign of change. Perhaps you need to change your mind about something. Perhaps an old way of doing things has become automatic, and now you've gained greater clarity. You can make a new choice. Regardless of what the change is, you can expect to be understood and to have clear communication for others at this time. Well, it says with others at this time. Interestingly, to say for others, if you consider channeling. And prior to turning on recording, I did my own reading just really quick to make sure I didn't have anything that I needed to. And I didn't have a message that I needed personally, but I'll pass it along because I put it away already. And it was regarding automatic writing. So the message was basically, get writing. Whatever that means to you. Like, do you need to write something in your personal life, to someone, for someone. Because I was prompted to think of it now, so. Ideas are solid, and the shift that is being called for is in the highest good of all. Isn't it always? Okay, so that was wind, 63. Now we have thunder, 56. So the medicine. Do you feel like unnecessary drama is waylaying your life? Could you be exhausted from listening to others tell you their never-ending victim story? Or could you be telling yourself a version of the same? It's time for an about face. You've been warned that to continue on this path will cause you to regret your choices, even if they appear benign or familiar. It's time to say no to drama, both yours and others. Focus on solutions rather than problems. You are worthy of a drama-free life. Okay, what I Ching is wind and thunder. And okay, so we have wind, which is sun, first daughter. We won't know the changes, but line broken, which was yesterday's, how it started. And thunder. That's fire. That was the question of that. Yellow. I was like, what is it? It was fire. It had it. It just doesn't have it in the right order. That's why it was confusing. Okay. Thunder is Chen, first sun. So you have sun, aka XUN, and Chen. Together make I swear it's a repeat, but maybe it was on the one that was 55. So this one, though thunder, it shows lightning. Is that why we keep messing it up? And then for fire, so together 42. That's with no changes. Oh yeah, there was something else to do too, but we'll get to that. All right, let's do that. So, book. So this, you're just gonna read, so it's increase. Increase all that is good and true. Increase all that is nourishing and uplifting within yourself and for others. Skipping. Take a walk somewhere in nature during the fullness of spring, preferably in a place teeming with flowers. Consider how all that richness and beauty and grandeur is made available for all to enjoy, whether they deserve it or not. Nature doesn't hold back. She is never miserly. Her times of increase are times that benefit all life, not just a chosen few. She is the ultimate benefactress. She grows flowers at our feet, brings rain to quench our thirst, and songbirds to delight our ears, and paints the sky with so many stars we're not able to count them. We humans reap the rewards of that abundance when we function from a willingness to share. The time of increase is a time to look to nature for guidance, to learn that from that abundant and generous source. Following in her footsteps, you will come to understand compassion, to experience serenity, and discover your own unlimited capacity to nurture yourself and others. By really taking her lessons to heart, you can't help but be inspired to become the best you can be, and in turn to support others to grow to the fullest realization of their potential. So basically what I'm getting from this is, it's like, okay, here it's for everyone's taking. It's a matter of if you're gonna stop and smell the flowers or not, or if you're just gonna keep walking by grumbling and complaining about this or that. You can't see or appreciate what's good. All you could do is complain about what's bad. That's kind of how it feels. All right, hypothetically, if it was the reverse, what would it be? As in, this direction, and it would be 32. Let's see what 32 says. Duration. Okay. The essence of a mountain is stability, a deep and abiding quality that withstands the test of time. It is the solidity of rock and the stabilizing function of earth. And it is unequivocally itself. For any relationship to endure, it must reflect the qualities of a mountain, as above, so below. This reminds me of a reading where my pile 3 was, I think it was pile 3, was the mountain. It might not have been, but it was definitely it was one of these cards. Or rather, this was one of the piles. What I didn't do was the changes. I didn't know about it. So, a marriage rooted in a supporting balance that enhances each partner's capacities would most likely strengthen the greater good of the community and therefore the world. Harmonious relationships are like mountains. They are a testimony to a dignity and inner strength that remain unwavering in the face of hardship or adversity. Yeah, one of the piles was really good, and this was the one. Do you remember that much? Okay. By unemotionally observing outer events as you would changes in the weather, and making any adjustment required by the moment, it is possible to proceed without major setbacks. Whether you find yourself in a high pressure zone, a dry spell, or a perfectly cloudless sky blue day, makes little difference. The silent center within you provides a groundedness that has seen it all and thus can remain calm and present. Then you can bend without a loss of integrity and firm without becoming stubborn or brittle. Because if you think about every day of your life is just another experience within the Bardo system. Could be a dream that you're recording, could be just your experience that you're having while incarnated. So whatever it may be, just know that one foot in front of the other, keep going kind of thing, no matter where you find yourself. Because The seasons will change and the weather will change. Good, bad, or otherwise. And the seasons and weather may change permanently even, but that doesn't mean that you will remain there forever. Something's gonna change. Like, there's one thing that is sure, and that is that things change, always. Nothing ever, ever, ever remains the same. Good, bad, or otherwise. So, one thing that had happened yesterday was reading the changes for 59. Didn't think to look at 59 in the older ones, which are kind of harder to understand, to compare them to the updated ones though, the modernized. So I want to do that. So here's 42 increase, it's still called that. And here's dispersion. So this was yesterday's. On the bottom line, it was this one and this one, right? Okay. He is engaged in rescuing from the impeding evil with the assistance of a strong horse. Good fortune. And then he has no regard to his own person. His aim is directed to what is external to himself. No occasion for repentance. So, dispersion indicates progress and success. The king goes to his ancestral temple. It will be advantageous to cross the great stream and be firm and correct. Okay, that gives a little more context now. I get it. So if you read this, and it sets the stage. Okay, so it's like, check this out. The king goes to his home temple. So that would be like a church, right? Hometown church. Cross the great stream. Be firm and correct. What would the great stream symbolize? Because if you're crossing a stream, a great stream, a river, he's doing this on a horse. He is engaged in rescuing from the impending evil. So there's an impending evil. He's rescuing. Maybe he's taking trips across over and over again, getting people to the other side to get them away from the impending evil. Sounds good. But he's not even worried about himself. He's just worried about everybody else. Everybody else. Everybody else. That's noble of you. But it's that idea of put your own gas mask on first. His aim is directed to what is external to himself. No occasion for repentance. So he's not even worried about his own soul, if you will, because he's only worried about everybody else. So what is that in the archetypes? As you know, Jess refers to it a lot. Victim, rescuer, persecutor. It's clearly playing the role of the rescuer. But if you realize that if you're playing a role of rescuer, then by default you're playing victim, whether you realize it or not. So who's your persecutor? Because if you have them stop being your persecutor, you no longer need to rescue or be victim. You can't have one without the other. Or like if there's no persecutor, there is no reason to rescue. There's no reason to be a victim. It's like you got to stop the cycle somewhere. Okay, there's that one. Out of curiosity, where's 55? Because there was no changes, but I would like to see what the stage is that is set for it. And then we might as well throw again today, since we didn't have changes. What was that other one? 32. I might have passed it. All right, here's prosperity. Prosperity intimates progress and development. When a king has reached the point of prosperity, there is no occasion to be anxious through fear of a change. Let him be as the sun at noon. So if you think about that, when you have it all, there's no reason to have anxiety. Nothing could possibly change that could cause problem, right? Not necessarily, but that's kind of the vibe. But like the king has reached such a point of prosperity, no anxiety anymore. Nothing could happen that could cause problem, but it could be a state of mind of prosperity. As in, it's not about a monetary value. It's about a spiritual inheritance that cannot be taken from you. That's true prosperity. Because then you can make more. Your reserves are endless. Nobody can take that from you unless they lobotomize you. To which then I say, I hope you get put out of your misery. Because that's no way to live. It's stuck in a trapping of your own mind on some kind of loop or something. Or something. It depends on each person. But it's basically like an empty room situation. But at least you know it's temporary. Eventually that body will die. But they ain't there. Knock knock, who's home? Fucking nobody. So it's kind of fucked up. Anytime somebody's alive but they're not there, take them out. They appreciate on the higher. They hate being plugged into the earth sim without being, you know, it's like they can't go on and do other things until you guys let them go. They don't like it. They keep trying to get your guys' attention and dreams and stuff, but you just keep having them hang on and hang on. Unless you're trying to torture them. If you really hate somebody, yeah, keep them clinging on. As it says, the clinging. So, yeah. And that's Lily. Aha, aha, aha. Remember that one? 1717. Okay. Indicates that it will be advantageous to be firm and correct, and that thus there will be free course and success. Let its subject also nourish a docility like that of the cow, good fortune. So you guys know what good fortune means, right? Because you think fortune like, ooh, I'm fortunate, or, well, I mean, yeah, actually that's not that far off, but most people would think of fortune as something like a treasure, or like, you know, something monetary or whatever. But fortune is just a state of energy. Fortune, misfortune. You wake up today and it's nice out. Ooh, good fortune. You wake up today and it's not nice out. Ooh, bad fortune. Fortune is fortune. Is it good or bad? It's good, according to Lily. So be firm and correct. And all that. What was the change on it? It was this one. 5th place. The bottom. 6th, 2nd place. He is in his place in yellow. Great good fortune. Even better than good. Great good. Not great bad. Great good. Great googly moogly good fortune. He is in his place in yellow. Clearly yellow is a good color in the traditional Chinese whatever. And you know, that's something to look into a little more. Why not? But for now, So, okay. So that wasn't this one, that was this one. Why does it say 55? Oh, because it was 2 together. So it wasn't actually this one. We already read it, but still, it's all good because anything that is done accidentally, it might as well, you know, it's not like it's a problem or anything. Okay. Ascending. So we probably already read this. Yeah. He is welcomed in his advance upward. Now, so setting the stage then. So ascending indicates there will be great progress and success. Seeking to meet with the great man, he need have no anxiety. His aim will be carried out. That was that one. A meeting is going to be happening. Who would be the great man? Probably CEO, yeah. Or supervisor, or you know, anybody in the chain. No anxiety to meet with the man. The great man. Is he a good man? I don't know, but he's great. So, it tells you the hierarchy of importance. So, he is welcomed in his advance upwards. Great good fortune. His sincerity affords occasion for joy. No error. He ascends upwards as into an empty city. He has no doubt or hesitation. Okay. Here's 5, which was waiting. Waiting intimates that with sincerity there will be brilliant success. With firmness there will be good fortune. Advantageous to cross the great stream. Going forward will be followed by meritorious achievement. The river would be the great stream. Little stream, great stream. You know, using the word in a different context. Because great. Is that one of them? From the other day? All right. What question do you have? We can do a specific question today. Maybe that'll help any from being too vague. Okay. Here's this one, 57. Gentle penetration. Sun indicates success in small matters. There will be advantage in movement onward in every direction. It furthers to see the great man. I was like, huh? But what were the changes in this one? Well, you weren't doing this before, but now you know. These all 3 of these bottom ones were changes. Cool. You don't even need to like actually write it down. You know. So, but just for the heck of it, you got it's that, right? And then this one. So we'll read them. Now he advances, now he recedes. Advantageous to be firm and correct as a brave soldier. Next, he is beneath a couch and employing diviners and exorcists in a way bordering on confusion. Good fortune and no error. Right, hold on. This makes no sense. He is beneath a couch and employing diviners and exorcists in a way bordering on confusion. I really need to look into that a little bit more. Okay. He penetrates only by violent and repeated efforts. Occasion for regret. Look at this one. It's fucking weird. The gentle. Gentleness does not mean being indecisive or lazy. Yeah, we've read this. The Grand Canyon wasn't created in a day, nor was its beauty sculpted by a dozen different streams crisscrossing themselves at random. Know what you want to accomplish and keep working toward it. Next. So this is the one about the couch and diviners and exorcists on confusion. One difficulty with a gentle approach is overcoming obstacles, or approach to overcoming obstacles, is that stronger forces can easily interfere or cancel out your efforts. The most troublesome of these forces, however, generally lie within our own minds in the form of hidden agendas or doubts. Make sure your focus is clear and single-pointed first. Then you'll be able to see and respond quickly to any outer force that might be trying to undermine your efforts. Okay, I don't really get... I get... How did they get it? Because even this book doesn't have that in it, right? It doesn't have the changes. Wait, what did I do here? 50. Okay. So, the third one, some people project a gentle facade because it looks more appealing than the unattractive mind games it masks. Make sure your own outer demeanor is consistent with your inner intent, and these characters won't even risk exposing themselves by trying to draw you into a conversation. You will save yourself a lot of aggravation and waste of time. How is that? Okay, only by violent and repeated efforts. I don't know, but it's like this. People might assume that just because you're hanging out with a certain group of people, that you are of the mind of that group in which you're hanging out with. If you ain't near them, nobody's going to think. Nobody's going to have to question. Nobody's going to have to go, oh, you must be one of those because you're with them. Nobody at all. And then this one, according to this book, is like this. Make sure you're not your own worst enemy. Know what you want to accomplish and keep working toward it. One foot in front of the other is the Bible. So you're not indecisive or lazy. You're doing. You know what you want. You got your eyes on the prize. That is what you're working toward. One foot in front of the other. Don't let you talk yourself out of it or whatever. And don't hang out with anybody who's gonna draw you away from your goal of what you're trying to accomplish here. New pen. Okay, so we did that one. We did that one. We did that one. We did that one. We did, I think, that one. And if not, doesn't matter. Now we're gonna throw for the next one. Imagine being in a channeling room where there's an assumption of quietness. Imagine being a channeler. And there's a precedence of previous needing it to be quiet in order for you to be able to channel and stuff. And then all of a sudden there's this loud clanging, loud banging, you know, whatever sounds on earth. And it's like, we got to work within it. We got to do what we got to do. Hey, kitty. Okay. You want to go in, I take it, huh? Oh, I forgot. Did you ask a question? Because if not, you might want to hurry up. Time travel-wise, it hasn't been done yet. Anything can change at this point. As in, Book of Changes. So far, no changes, though. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Still. That's maybe why we're just repeating. We're just solidifying and getting the stage set for the future. Interesting. Okay. What do you want to do first? You want to read from the Art of War? Okay. This one's cut off from the previous page, so just gonna start where it starts. Fighting. This is in weak points and strong. Scheme, so as to discover his plans and the likelihood of their success. So that could be like running probabilities or like as things look right now, all things considered, what is the percentage of likeliness of this playing out? Feel it out, get a number back. If it's anything 85-ish and above, I would say it's at least worth the potential of entertaining it. Write it down. So you literally will say, you don't have to say all the things that are factors. In fact, there's things you won't know, and there's other things that'll play out. Now, understanding that anything is subject to change, it's always for the greater good of all, blah, 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 blah. You don't even need to specify the other things anymore as long as you understand them. If you haven't cemented them in yet, then yes, by all means, you're going to want to remind yourself of those things. So, not going to go ahead and do all that right now, but let's say you want to know, should I pick out this or this at the store? All right, if I pick out this, you say the things, percentage, 75. If I pick out this, same, 76. So go with the 76 because it's 1% more. Now, might that end up being a fucking bad choice? Maybe, but it was 1% more, and that's the best you got when you don't know blindly. You know, like you're choosing things blindly. Choose the one that's 1% more. You don't need to have 100% if you have two choices. You just need to have of the two. But making no choice is a choice too. Why don't you run that percentage? What's the percentage of success if I don't make a choice? 42? Oh, yuck. Yeah, definitely choose the 76% option. So, scheme as to, why don't we just say scheme as plan, you know? Scheme, schema, make a plan, whatever percentage is the highest. If it's anything under 50, you might want to say, are there any other options I might not be thinking of or considering? If so, please let me know. Because Book of Change-wise, the answer might not be never, it just might be not yet. Hence the waiting, the 5. Waiting, wait. It's not time yet. Doesn't mean it never will be. It just means it isn't right now. So, no changes today. Means still doing that. We haven't looked it up yet, but just saying. Next. Browse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Next, carefully compare the opposing army with your own, so that you may know where strength is superabundant and where it is deficient. Next, in making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. Conceal your dispositions, and you will be safe from the prying of the subtlest spies, from the machinations of the wisest brains. Oh, you can be wise all day, but that doesn't mean you are given approval. And keep in mind that permission and approval are two different things. Yeah, you have permission to do that, but that doesn't mean you have approval. Approval means you'll always be able to do it unless. Permission means you'll never be allowed to do it unless. Meaning it has to be for the greater good and blah, blah, blah. Remembering that there's always two parallels. The one you're on and the one you jump to. That doesn't mean there's only two options. It just means there's only two parallels. But remember also, if there is any additional information to that as well. So if these are things you need to revisit or review, write down or whatever, do so. All right, that's that. Let's figure out which one this one is. That one got your eye. Don't tell me. The returning. Isn't it? Isn't it though? 24. Let's see if we're right. The turning point, it says in here. That's cool. But with no changes. Nature moves. Oh, this is the one that looks like a hot mess. That's what I'm going to call this one. The hot mess. It's a snake. Not just eating. See, it's so fucking stupid that it doesn't realize it's eating its own tail. This isn't just a circle wrapped blah 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 blah, but it's also so tangled. It just literally does not know. It's got blood flow cut off to the point where it doesn't even feel the pressure of it biting its own tail. And that's some shit. You guys are really fucking up your planet. And this is it right here. You guys are past your turning point. But hey, that doesn't mean it can't be fixed. It just means you're past the natural turning point where if you guys were to just be wiped off the face of the earth at this very moment, it would have to go into an ice age. But that doesn't mean that you guys can't use technology, current or especially advanced futuristic, with the help of ETs, channel it in and fix your shit. Does this even matter though? You know, I can say it, you guys in the astral can hear it, you can channel it out to your humans. What good is it going to do at this point to have Angie hear it unless she's going to somehow figure out how to get it out to the masses, which I don't see happening unless she can figure out a way to do it on the sly, because the way she was doing it was a little bit too risky. So I think that's why algorithms never popped. That's fine, but doesn't mean that the message isn't still needed and that this still doesn't need to happen. Otherwise she's gonna end up back on the ship and like, damn, now what? I don't know. We gotta fucking figure it out now, and I don't really know. We gotta get open contact to happen somehow in order for all the things to happen. So we don't really give a fuck how it happens as long as it happens. We don't care who gets the credit. We don't care, but the sooner the better, because the more damage control you guys will be able to do in that case. right now, not looking so great. So, any ideas you might have about bouncing back energetically from adversity stem from a misunderstanding of what is really needed. When there has been a period of inaction, coming to a turning point means that what was depleted will now be replenished, and what was frozen will melt away. See? But this happens naturally without your doing and without interference. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. But let's see what it says traditionally. Not that the changes matter, but returning. Returning indicates that there will be free course and progress. He finds no one to disturb him in his exits and entrances. Friends come to him, and no error is committed. He will return and repeat his proper course. In 7 days comes his return, advantageous in every way. So is it, vibe-wise, it feels like within a week, you know, in 7 days comes his return. But I don't feel like it means a literal physical return. You know, we're past that point, obviously. And by the way, when I say that, we're talking about multi-level things here, you guys, but that doesn't even matter anyway. It can be your comeback. That's what I would say it is. Return, come back. So return / turning point. Like if you were to really modernize it. Come back, king. Yeah. So I feel like if there were changes, it'd be cool, but since there isn't, we don't need to worry about that. It's just within 7 days. So when we do these for the rest of the week, then you'll see more of that in that regard. Okay. Maybe we'll put these cards in order. So you're not using them as an oracle, you're just using them to get the contrast between the two perspectives. Victory. Intuition. So we got High Priestess and 6 of Wands. If you use your intuition, you will have victory. If you do not, you will not. It literally says on the flip side is ignorance and defeat. Don't want that. You don't want that. Use your intuition, but not like, you know, watching other people's tarot readings, informative as it may be in one regard or another, it isn't like as beneficial as channeling ever will be. So just keep that in mind, you know, and you know that, and you know that what we're kind of doing right now is reinforcing things in a way to really, really hone them in for your solidity and peace of mind going forward and stuff. So that you got a grip on it, because really what you want to do is be able to do this on the fly. And I mean that, because like, remember how you can do that, but you never did it with percentages. You just played it out, and you're like, yeah, no, I know how that's going to turn out if I do that or this or whatever. I'll say this and this will happen and that'll happen and this will happen, da 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 da, based on all things considered and da da da. You weren't saying all that. So avoidance, you would err on the side of avoidance because you thought that was easier to do. You know, structure, emperor. So this one's tower reversed, because you don't want the upheaval, so you avoid it altogether. But what does that do? It delays the inevitable, because emperor, structure, says your foundation was already cracked. It had to come down eventually. It was a matter of time. So awareness too. So it's reversed. So remember, 2 of Swords, indecision, it says. And so not just blocked intuition, as you have been saying. Maybe we'll revert that back to High Priestess reversed. Instead, we'll say not making a decision. Awareness it's good when it's reversed. Like, there's a difference between making a decision or not making a decision and having the awareness of things. You want to have the awareness. That's why you were saying blocked intuition when it was upright, because you're thinking the opposite being awareness. Yeah, true, but it's always good to consider all different things. Empathy. Queen of Cups. I don't know. I like the idea of empathy in theory, but Ace of Cups reversed. Blockage. Blockage of empathy, though. See, now that could be a problem. Others are blocked in their empathy. This is why we're in the position we're in. Discontent. 6 of Cups reversed. People are, because usually it's like nostalgia and shit, right? Or whatever. People are so discontent because they're blocked in empathy. Remember what everybody is truly addicted to on the higher, and therefore, what does that mean on the lower? Is that it's going to manifest in weird ways. That doesn't really make logical sense. People aren't going to get it. Well, you get it. Do you not? Well, that's great. How do you explain something to somebody who's never experienced it? Really, truly. Why do you think people don't believe in the topic of like twin flames or whatever? It's because if they themselves have never experienced it, they don't believe that it's real. Same with the divine. Nobody's going to believe in divinity unless they themselves have their own experience with divinity. They can't just take somebody else's word for it, Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that. So instead, what you have is this fucking melting pot of bullshit. Fun times. Am I right? Am I right? You got straight up divine trying to come in and help y'all, and we can't get through to you guys. We're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty and shit. Nobody wants to fucking take that spam call. So, see what happens then.
Is this chocolate?
So, I just forgot which order they go in. Let's do the red side first, since that was the prominent. But by the way, spiritual, mental, physical are the 3 categories as well. All right, ready? Be realistic about your highest ideals as a life or death issue. Okay. That's spiritually. Life or death. Your spiritual life or death. Your spiritual soul. That's going way back to the going through the I Ching again and making sure there wasn't anything we missed. Be concerned about the rules of getting and using power. So we got another be concerned about. So this was the same one, huh? Okay. Saturn in Sagittarius in the 8th house. You must wait before you can get it out to the world and use other people's resources. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? That's in the physical. Mental. Going back. Be concerned about the rules of getting and using power. Because why do you think it is that I think that on the sly you were advised to back it up? So that you weren't discovered, probably? Nothing you're saying right now has anything to do with anything. You're not channeling anything that would tip anybody off. You're not doing anything that I feel like is cause for concern. Burn your papers, nobody would even know. Do you get what I'm saying by that? Like, prove it. Prove it. Like, what are you talking about? Unless you knew it was somebody like 86 and they would let you know. How the hell would they let you know if not? You know what I mean? Like, you would know. So I'm not worried about that. Again, check in, ask. I don't think this is even a fucking cause for concern at this point, because you've just totally backed it up. Not unlike 2015, where you were like, you know what, I think I'm going to pull the plug on this because of reasons and stuff. Well, I get it. But maybe it was made to feel like it was your idea, but there was behind the scenes stuff. Like, you were prompted today to read about Terrence McKenna and, you know, all this stuff, and then machine elves, and you're thinking machine, AI, within, you know, all this. Well, yeah, makes more sense now. Why people who do DMT and stuff see this mechanical looking shit, doesn't it? It's your brain's way of interpreting that which you cannot define, rationalize, or quantify from a limited human understanding, perception of things within the VR game. That's how you view it. You don't see the ones and zeros per se. You see the machine elves. And what does he say about, you know, what is it, you know, the amount and all that? You're good. You've already broken through everything you need to. You don't need to even think about it. But for others, I highly suggest you do. But we're just leaving that alone, because I don't fucking think that there's no shamans, you know? There's nobody who's going to be able to help with this at this point. So you don't want to just willy-nilly prescribe people to go fix your shit. You know what I mean? And it ain't your job to fucking do that for them. Just because you know how doesn't mean that's your job. Instead, what you need to do is, most likely, if this was a future thing, like let's say you do end up doing your community, since that template hasn't gone away, clearly, have that be part of the community vibe, but on the DL, not like straight up, like, because within this paradigm you have stupid rules and stuff that people have to adhere to. The maturity that brings insights to understand personal power. All right, so the maturity that brings insights to understand personal power. What's more personally power? Like, you know how there's certain channelers that we're going to say go forth and fucking disseminate the info to the masses. That's assuming we get to do what we want to do, and we will do that, and we will channel to them certain things. And if you never ever come up, it's for a reason. You know what I mean by if you never ever come up? You know? Okay. Caution regarding the wisdom of the mysteries of life. See? Because the powers that be don't want it to be, so don't fucking ruffle any feathers in that regard until and unless you know you've got the clear. All right. Limits imposed resulting from the understanding of a major change. Limits imposed resulting from the understanding of a major change. Yeah, what was the major change for 28? So why were the limits imposed? External and stuff, you know? You know. You know if you know. And what is this about? The shadow? See, because we don't know yet. And I'm not interested in necessarily channeling that yet. I'm not saying we're not going to, but I'm not 100% interested in it just yet. The dead end. The fault line. The animal. The one. It's all very the shapeshifter. It could be a mentality or it could be a literal. The mentor, the destroyer. I just feel like there's a lot. The river is getting my attention. The flame. Look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it. What am I telling you? Backwards. You guys don't know maybe. No, you do. You can see it. Yeah, you can see it. The flame. For those in the back, fire. Tribe room. It's cool. It's cool that is a synchronicity right there within the Bardo system. Somebody hooked that up. All right, that's it.